what you want, when you want it, where you want it. This is The Mesh.
Alrighty, hello, and welcome to another episode of I Guess I'll Do It with Pat House. Today, I'm very excited to have my guest on. We've been talking about this for a little while. My guest today is one of the hardest working, most traveled comics I know, hilarious comic and fellow national park enthusiast, Reena Calm. Hello. What's going on? Good to see you. Good to talk to you.
Yeah, it's great to see you too. As a national park enthusiast, I hope we can both appreciate that I'm coming to you from the middle of the Midwest, so I'm not distracted, and I'm happy just to be on screen with you.
Likewise. You do have one of my favorite Instagrams because it's either comedy or mountains, and that's like 100% of the shit I follow.
Yeah. It's a wonderful thing to be able to bond on because it's like obviously comedy is a great way to like meet people and obviously what brings us into the same spaces, but the parks and nature, it's such a nice thing to be able to enjoy by yourself and also just really appreciate somebody else appreciating. So.
Oh my God, absolutely. I mean, I follow more mountain accounts than dog accounts, I think. So my feed is just constantly like, comics are probably like 4th and 5th on the list of like shit that I follow, but like mountains and national parks are definitely number one.
Yeah, I love good nature photography. And like also it's a good gauge for the kind of people you're around too, because it's like, yeah, obviously this stuff's cool as hell. Like it's so cool to look at and it's amazing to see in person. The pictures are great. Somebody made a comment and I just love taking pictures. I don't have like a fancy camera or anything. I just have fun with my phone.
Likewise, me too.
Yeah. And it's just a good time. And I love sharing views and stuff like that. Somebody commented on one of my pictures once, like, oh, we don't need another Ansel Adams. And it's like, who hurt you?
Yeah, seriously. Fire and like water are cool, but like mountains are the shit.
Yeah.
I have stayed at the Murano Hotel in Tacoma, Washington many times. And if you face Mount Rainier on a clear day, it's visible. And I swear to you, I have spent hours just staring out that window, not doing anything, just staring at the mountain.
Yeah, it's crazy how it looks different every moment of the day, even though it's like a not moving thing.
Yeah, the clouds are like low, so you can see the mountain over it, or you can't see the peak, or the clouds are in the middle. Like mountains, I can stare at all day. So don't get me wrong. I should say, believe me when I tell you, I love all the shit. And you were just in Alaska.
Yeah, I have so many more pictures to post from there. It was incredible. It's been a really crazy couple of months for me, as you, I think, know from my Instagram. But yeah, I feel like I have more pictures from Yellowstone I haven't posted. I have so many pictures that I don't know why I've like made more work for myself in that way of like, I must share these photos, but it is important to me. And I like breaking up the Instagram feed of just like pictures of me and comedy and like,
yeah,
not that I'm complaining about those pictures either, but yeah.
It's pressure we put on ourselves too. Cause I went to Yellowstone and the Tetons last fall and I probably have 2,000 pictures and I think I put 3 on Instagram, but they're all just sitting there. And I'm like, oh, remember that day I saw a grizzly bear? I should post that. But why now? It was 6 months ago.
I saw the Northern Lights and I haven't posted that. Like, that's crazy. That's like bucket list stuff. But it also was a nice way of like compartmentalizing it in this way of it's like, this is for me now and I can share it whenever, you know. And
where did you see the Northern Lights? Where was that at?
Anchorage. We saw them in the city. And then we went up to Palmer, which is like a little bit like an hour north of there. And I missed the main show that night and we missed them a couple of times, but we saw them a little bit. And honestly, you can see them better on camera sometimes than with a long exposure. Than you can. And so, yeah, I had so much fun. I have so many pictures from that trip. And yeah, I do love, like, there's something relaxing about it, about taking the pictures, sharing them, and just, prolonging the news.
We all, like, you know, take photos of the nature and the mountains and stuff, but I always make sure to, like, put my phone away for a few minutes and, like, take it in. I feel like when I'm in a national park, I see people take their phone out and snap, and then they just get back in the car or keep walking. Like, I always try to make it a point to stop and just take it in.
Yeah.
Are you good at that?
I try to specifically do that. It doesn't come naturally to me. I have a very like go, go, go mode. And so
Yes.
like be like aware of that and actually take time to just appreciate stuff. And actually in Alaska, I was there with one of my friends for the festival, Gwen's uncle, and she knows I take a lot of pictures. So she said before the trip, she's like, just make sure to also enjoy it. And I kind of, at one point during the trip, we were taking pictures that I haven't shared yet. And I was showing her how much fun I was having just like taking pictures. And I think sometimes it is fun just to play with the camera and stuff too. And that's not about, it is being in the moment and appreciating it just in a different way. But yeah, it's like a spiritual thing to have quiet time. Also, I got like a little GoPro, so sometimes I'll just like let that record for a while and feel at peace with not like taking specific pictures of anything.
Absolutely. And you know what's cool? Like, you and I had drive and fly around the country. It's cool to do all this shit because comedy took us there.
Yeah, that's definitely that never.
I have to remind myself how cool that is pretty frequently.
Yeah, Mount Rainier is actually one of the places that I've only ever seen because of like non-comedy travels.
Mm-hmm.
Washington's one of the only states I haven't performed in yet. And yeah, that's probably one of my first mountains too. And I've just kind of been obsessed with it ever since. I don't know.
It's my favorite national park. Mount Rainier is my biggest obsession, hands down.
Yeah, you said that like when we first got chatting, you said Mount Rainier was your favorite, and I feel like I took it for granted my first time there, or my only time really at the park, because I was with family, and I don't think I really had a full appreciation for it at the time. Yeah.
Oh, I could tell you everything. But all right, let's backtrack now because you and I, we met in Cleveland last summer. August, we did Hilarities together, one of my favorite clubs and also probably my favorite hotel in America.
Yes, that hotel.
We have discussed that Hyatt. It is gorgeous.
Well, yeah, photogenic, very photogenic. It's a beautiful landscape of a building.
Yeah. I would like to always start off by saying where I met my guests. We got into the national park stuff first. But you and I met in Cleveland. It was a very fun show. We've kept in touch ever since. You are on the road more than anybody I know, and I think that is so awesome. When I see your social media posts, one day you're in Alaska, then you're in the South, then you're in Arkansas, then you're you're coming to me from Iowa right now, right?
Yeah. I just got to Dubuque actually half an hour ago. And
oh man, you just flew in here, man.
Well, I don't fly anywhere. I've been driving, but
I mean, like I meant flew into the podcast.
Yeah. I learned a lot about myself and like why that has happened in my life. Like it's kind of been a very organic thing. It's not something that I necessarily like set out to accomplish as much as have kind of found myself in this circus. And I've learned a lot about why that is, like when we had no performances for a while. And I got actually really stressed out by one of the reporters I talked to, I think for the Alaska show, asking me like if I enjoyed having that break and having that downtime. And no, I hated it. I hated not being able to perform, but also comedy was my only stability. I left Chicago in 2019. And so, I mean, comedy was just keeping me too busy to justify paying for a place and too gone, So when the pandemic hit, I really didn't know where to go or have a place or anything. And people were messaging me trying to figure out what to do with their lives. Like, oh, should I live on the road? I want to advice about living in a camper or something. And I'm like, live somewhere with a sink. If you can get unemployment, just
solid advice.
Yeah, I was way too stressed out to relax during any of that downtime,
You are my friend, and, we chat here and there, but I really don't know anything about you. So where are you from?
Yeah, good point. Do we know anybody, really?
True, but I don't even know what U.S. state you were born in.
Well, that's because I was actually born in none of them. I was born in Israel, but My parents are from Connecticut, so I'm white. And I mean, I'm Jewish, but yeah, I'm not even like sexy Jewish. That's Israeli. But anyway, so I was born in Israel and I was raised in Massachusetts. I came back to the States with them when I was like 3 months old. So I don't remember.
Okay.
I was, just a souvenir from their honeymoon expedition. So
yeah, we have shot glasses and a baby girl.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'm definitely East Coast Jewish is how I was raised, and you're from Philly, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Immediate suburbs, but yes, Philly.
You got that East Coast vibe about you too, but not as rude as Massachusetts.
That is a very big thing. That people think about the East Coast and like Philly and Boston and stuff. And I just performed in Boston back in February, and nothing made me happier to mention the Eagles beating the Patriots in the Super Bowl. Yeah. And that's how I started the show. And I got booed by 800 people, and it was absolutely so fucking fun.
Yeah. You know what's funny is that it's like the rude thing is not rude as in like people are mean or ill-wishing or anything like that. It's just a more abrasive tone. Like,
yes, or just like be quick with it. What do you want?
I mean, honestly, that's what it is. It's like people, there's not enough space. We're all sharing very little space, so there needs to be order because there's otherwise chaos. So everybody needs to get what you're doing quickly, done quickly. You know what I'm saying? I can't talk efficiently. Yes. They would hate me there now. I've been told I have a Chicago accent now, which tracks. I lived there for 15 years, but I'm not thrilled about having that detectable in my voice, although I guess it is better than having a Boston accent. So
I don't think I hear Chicago in your voice.
Yeah, I try not to. I don't think I really have much of an accent from anywhere, but a few people have said that. Anyway, I've noticed it because I've spent a lot of time in Texas recently, and there's so many people that just moved down to Texas, but like there's so much space there, but it seems like the driving is somehow worse in Austin than it is in Boston. And I have this whole theory about the East Coast, because when you're driving through the country, once you hit Pittsburgh, you're driving on the East Coast. If you're coming from, the Midwest, if you're coming
the Midwest,
really like Pennsylvania. I mean, you have a hole in the middle of Pennsylvania that's kind of doing its own wild thing, but like that,
not too much.
Right. East Coast driving is aggressive and it's fast, but it's like survival mode. People have order because it is a little bit chaotic. Otherwise, like people are just trained to let other people take turns, like you share the road because there's less of it, I think. In Texas right now, people drive. I mean, the driving in Texas is so bad you will honk at somebody behind you. Like, I know I just got my car totaled down there, so I'm a little bit probably sensitive, but like it just seems like because there's so much space down there, they never learned how to share the road. So there's a lot of people there now, but there's no manners or like protocol,
Interesting. Because you are in your car more than anybody I know, so you probably have a better hands-on on how different states and their drivers are.
Yeah, I have. Oh, yeah. I've got theories about humanity based on what I see.
Oh, I'm sure you do.
Yeah. And that's kind of how you can learn a lot about the places you're in by like the signs they have on the road. It's so interesting when you talk about like climate and stuff like that, how like the weather will change when you cross a state line, but definitely like you can see like the maintenance will be different. Like the roads look different state to state. So that's always interesting to kind of see. I remember
we always go ahead.
Oh, like one summer I was driving through, I think it was Oklahoma, and I just kept seeing, or maybe it was Missouri. I just kept seeing so many dead armadillos. Like they were like littering the road, and then I crossed state lines and there were none. And I'm like, well, either this state is better about cleaning up all the dead armadillos or all of them just go to Missouri to die. Like
literally across the state line, go past that sign. And then,
yeah,
we have a joke here in Pennsylvania, and I'm sure other states have this as well. But like once you get like past Pittsburgh, like into central PA, past Pittsburgh or past like Lancaster into central PA, all the billboards are like Jesus or like sex shops.
Yeah.
I mean, and they're all like in a row. It's like Jesus saves, read the Bible. Then it's like XXX lingerie jerk off here. It's like, it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Do other states have that as well?
Yeah, I remember seeing that specifically when I went to West Virginia. It's like one side of the highway is a sign that's like, for a strip club, and the other one's a sign for a church. And it's like the one for the church is also like your choice. And it's like, well, you're putting them both right in front of me, aren't you? Like,
Yep.
So yeah, it's just I think it's just interesting, any of that stuff on a billboard. I've been talking about billboards in my set more just because, like, what really got me was in Montana. It was my first time in Montana. And they are often like in kind of more unappealing places. You'll see more billboards, which makes sense because when you're somewhere beautiful, like nothing ruins it like a billboard.
Absolutely.
And I was in Montana and it's beautiful every inch, but like right in the middle of the state, somebody put up a billboard that just says Jesus in big letters. And it's like, do you really need that sign here? Like
for the 4 people that are going to look at it this week?
Yeah, to feel connected to your higher power. Like, you really need that sign? All right. I mean,
I've had so many jokes about billboards in my act over the years, and for that exact same reason. We're in the car, we see them all the time, and some of them are absolutely wild. I probably have had, I'd say 5 or 7 different billboard jokes that were heavy in the rotation throughout my whole entire career.
Yeah.
I still do one of them sometimes.
I mean, my current and most active billboard, I have ones about drugs, but my current, like, most heavy rotation billboard joke is about abortion. That's a real fun topic for everyone. I mean,
topical.
Also, just like, I mean, that's exactly the example of like what people are putting on road signs. Like, nobody wants to think about that on the highway, like,
Yeah.
Or really most places, it's pretty crazy to like, yeah, it's so expensive too. Like, the amount of money people spend on these boards, it's crazy. And it's also really crazy that they're spending so much money on billboards, but they want people to think they're fiscally conservative. I don't think so.
I like when a billboard reminds you that you're not near anything. They'll be like, McDonald's, 24 miles. You're like, Jesus, there is nothing around here at all. Like, where am I?
You've probably driven through South Dakota, right? The wall drug?
No, Montana and Wyoming, but I have not stepped foot in the Dakotas.
Well, I mean, I had to cross them off my list that I made, and I'm glad I got them out of the way. I feel the same about Delaware. No need to return.
Agreed. And it's like Delaware is, I don't know, 12 miles away.
Yeah.
It's like right down that road. I'm not even kidding.
Worst is the worst. You know what I'm saying? But South Dakota, it's like there's nothing to look at. I mean, when you get to Rapid City and like where Sturgis and all that stuff is, there's like starts being some interesting landscape, and the Badlands are really cool out that way. But basically, and Mount Rushmore, which is problematic, but something to look at. But until you get to the western side of the state, South Dakota is just a very flat, boring drive. And it's really just that one main stretch of road down along the whole western or the whole southern, like basically like line of the state. And so towards the end of the state, there's Wall Drug, which is this big overhyped gas station. It's really, I mean, it's not exciting. It's a travel stop, but like, I think like after like several hours of road madness, after like several months of travel, it's just like some of this tourist stuff is like, it's mind blowing the amount of traffic it gets considering what it is, like there's just nothing going on there. And okay, so I'm rambling, but my first time doing that drive was with Jessica Michelle Singleton, who I learned a lot about touring from. She's like a road goddess. She's so good at this. And we were on the road together in 2017. And you keep seeing from the beginning of the state, it's like 300, 400 miles. You see signs for Wall Drug. That whole highway is just the whole way there. Free ice. Like, it's maddening. And like, you also see signs for the Badlands, or the Badlands are there, but basically like it's like Stockholm syndrome. By the time we got to that side of the state, we were like, we could either go to look at the Badlands or go to Wall Drug. And we were like, well, gotta go to Wall Drug. We've been seeing signs all day.
After 400 miles of advertising,
yeah,
you have to check it out.
Incredibly disappointing. Definitely go to the Badlands if you're around there. Do not waste your time on Wall. But then, I'm sorry, but this is my final rant.
No.
The thing that's crazy about Wall Drug is that, like, there's tour buses. Like, so many people are going there. They have parking for days for all of it's like, what are we doing, you guys? Like, there's all these cool rocks and mountains. I mean, yeah, I don't like when those places are crowded, but like, are we really all just taking buses to a gas station? Is that, why don't we invest in our schools? You know, like
that sounds like America in a nutshell right there.
Yeah.
Because every Cracker Barrel has the sign that says "Welcome buses." You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, Cracker Barrel, I gotta say, mad respect, because while I have no interest in a grit, and I mean, I was raised Jewish, so most of that stuff's not of interest to me, and I'm vegan now, so, you know, gross.
Mm-hmm.
But and I'm all full up on Christ. I'm pretty good for Jewish gal. Had enough Christ with my breakfast. But but they do allow you to sleep in their parking lots, and honestly, I've had some pretty nice stays in a Cracker Barrel parking lot.
Oh, is that like just something you discovered, or is that like known throughout the company?
I just like the idea. I like the idea.
Like, welcome to Cracker Barrel. You're more than welcome to sleep here.
I like
if
the idea that you think I'm out there learning these things by trial and error to the point where I'm trying anywhere, to the point where I'm like, yeah, let's try Cracker Barrel this time. Yeah, no, that's definitely something I heard before I ever tried it. It's definitely like a company policy. And I think that all these places that allow overnight camping have RV campers in mind, but like there's definitely more car conversions and van camper conversions happening than people ever planned on. And it's almost like our generation can't afford to own property, something like that. Yeah. So I don't know how that's going to keep up, because I feel like it's like they didn't have me in mind when they enacted that policy.
Yeah.
You know?
All right. I do want to backtrack because I want to get on the topic. Okay. So you started out Connecticut, Massachusetts, you said, right?
Yeah.
And then Chicago. Was Chicago for comedy, or did you do that at all on the East Coast?
No, I didn't do comedy in Massachusetts. I worked at Hollywood Video and at Chili's and Outback Steakhouse. Really lived my best life.
You had the corporate restaurant run.
Yeah. And I still had serving jobs in Chicago for a while. I moved to Chicago when I was 21. I moved there because one of the gals I went to high school with was working at Second City, and I really didn't know anything about it. I just was like, well, the Outback is kind of not my long-term goal. So I just didn't have anything else going on. So she worked at Second City, and she ended up leaving like right when I got there. I ended up kind of moving there alone, but me and her used to watch Strangers with Candy a lot in high school. And I should also note that we went to high school on the grounds of a mental institution.
Oh, that's awesome. I need to cut you off right there real quick, because I swear to God, I said it on this podcast. Strangers with Candy, to me, is the #1 funniest show of all time.
Oh my God. It's just so good.
Oh, there's so much going on at one time. They could be having a funny conversation, and every poster in the hallway are funnier than what they're talking about.
Yeah, I mean,
there is so much on that fucking show that I love. Me, the Philly comic, his name's Chip Chantry. We lived together, and we would watch that show constantly.
So funny. I mean, like, I feel like it also had its moment in the sun. Like, the movie was like trying too hard to like make it into something. I mean, the movie was great, but like, yeah, that show, just when it was, what it was. Also, the fact that it was like, there's so much on that show that is like, you could not say now it's like cancelable, but like, there's just something about the intention behind it that it's like, they're never gonna, you know what I mean?
They're just mocking an after school special. And it's so like Amy Sedaris is amazing, and that's my favorite character she has ever done. Stephen Colbert looks like he's 17.
Yeah.
You know.
Also, like there's like this gag reel compilation of him just like doing dances and stuff, and like I could watch that. They always did like big dance numbers to close it out, and I could even just watch that all day. Paul Danello, who is Jellyneck, is I think his head writer. Stephen Colbert.
He is. Yep.
And I just love that they're still working together. And when I got to Second City, you see all these black and white photos of them on stage together playing around. And like, I really didn't know what I was getting into, but I just knew that I knew the whole time that like Chicago seemed to be like the back door to New York. And like the idea of moving to New York was so intimidating that I figured Chicago would be a great way to just like, for the love of the game,
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, no regrets. I'm so glad I did move to Chicago, but I never really knew where it was taking me. Like stand-up as a whole, I can't believe I do stand-up comedy. I'm still not.
Well,
yeah.
So let's talk about your very first set. So were you interested in comedy at all as a kid?
I mean,
like,
yeah,
stand up, or like were you attracted to funny movies?
Okay,
like,
so-
did humor stand out in your life when you were a very young child?
Well, we had a really messed up home life, and I feel like I was always kind of putting on comedy routines for the sake of just like I was the oldest kid, so just kind of like damage control, not even like for fun. And then there's a couple weird things like I used to do magic shows and like DJ all my siblings' birthday parties, and like nobody ever asked for that. like
You just took it upon yourself.
Volunteered my magic act, and like nobody maybe even wanted it, but I sure found a way to make a show happen. So yeah, that's weird. But okay, so
I feel like that's indicative of comics, though. Putting on shows as a kid, I definitely did that. I definitely did some magic stuff. I didn't DJ, but I mean, I was more musical. I'd play guitar for people. I absolutely did the exact same thing.
yeah, I don't know, like I got a chemistry set at one point. They're just like whoever got me the magic kit was really like knew something I didn't about myself. But like even with the chemistry set, it was like I would try to make that into a show. It was always putting on shows. And so this is something that stand-up comics hate to hear when I say it, but it's true. And I just had a realization about it recently. I don't know if I'm proud of this, but okay. So when my siblings and I were younger, we would go to the video store once a week. That was like our entertainment. And, they always wanted to get stand-up. They always wanted to rent Carlin specials, and I was always like, no, that's so boring. I always was like so against it. And I remember I would always say like, it's so boring. It's just a person talking.
That's so funny.
And it's like a really cruel prank from the universe that's what I do now. But like, I realized recently, because I always liked the stand-up specials, but I think it's like, I hate to say this, but maybe more of like a Jewish thing where like, well, that's problematic, but stand-up special is like an hour max, right?
Mm-hmm.
Drop Dead Fred is like 90 minutes, okay? So like you can get like a full-length feature film for the same amount of money, and that's an hour and a half of we were like restricted how much TV we could watch. So I think I was really just trying to get as much TV time as possible. And so
more bang for your buck.
Yeah. I don't know who I just offended and what point there on my journey to explain.
Do your siblings make fun of you for saying no to the stand-up and now you do it? Does that come up?
No, they don't really care. So
also,
yeah.
I get that as well.
Yeah, I mean, we also loved I'm the closest with my youngest brother, and we definitely still appreciate comedy and stuff together. Like, I lived with him for a lot of the pandemic, and it was a hectic time, but we definitely would bond watching like SNL together, or I Think You Should Leave. That's a favorite in our house that is no more. A former house.
Where was your very first set? What was the moment where you were like, I'm going to try this. I'm just going to give it a try.
I did like improv and sketch in Chicago for a while, and I warmed up for that by doing a lot of like karaoke by myself, which wasn't sad. And the first time I did stand up, I lived with a gal who was really big in the scene and doing really well, and she kept saying I should do it, and I was like obsessed with improv, and I tried it, and this was back when like the Chicago comedy scene was like Nick Vatterott and Kumail Nanjiani and Beth Stelling, and those were the people. Hannibal Buress were the people you could expect to just see at the open mic every night. And I can't remember who talked to me after my set, but they were I know I had like a joke about Lindsay Lohan. It was atrocious, and I remember them saying that I had really good stage presence. I just needed material.
Yeah. Well, if you did sketch and like improv and stuff, then you probably you had a foundation.
Yeah. So that it didn't take at that point, and then I like quit doing everything for a while, and a lot of people don't know this about me, but like I definitely like quit comedy once already in my life, and that was before I started stand up. But like I feel like I'm deep into my 30s now, and I feel pretty confident about my choices and my life path wherever it takes me. Like I feel like I'm, stable in my footing now and like my intentions. But I don't know, probably everybody, especially if you're doing something like that you love, if you're doing something in the arts, you have a lot of like, I don't know if you ever stop having moments of like, why am I doing this and how?
I feel like they're always there.
Yeah.
I feel like they're always there. The last one I had was in West Virginia. I had like a really like, what the fuck am I doing with my life kind of weekend.
Yeah.
And then the weekend afterwards was awesome. So like, okay. So they're fleeting, but the thought is always there.
Yeah. I mean, I think that like at this point, I'm pretty like sealed into it, and I don't question my path in comedy the way that I used to. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm rambling pretty hard now, but I think like people will talk a lot of the time about like not being sure or like having stuff going on in their lives that they feel like they need to take a step back, or they're stressed about the idea of taking a step back. And I always tell them, because I learned from experience, that like comedy is always there. Like it's going to keep going with or without you. So like do whatever you need to do in your life, because comedy, you can do comedy whenever you want to do comedy. It's going to be there. So, yeah.
And it's ageless. I'm friends with Dom Herrera. Dom Herrera's been doing stand-up forever. He's in his early 70s now, and he's still out there touring, working the road.
Well, and not only are people always going to need to laugh, but also like if you don't feel good, you're not going to make people feel good. And that's the whole point of this. So like, I feel like I'm grateful to have found this path, but like, I'm so glad I never like forced. I don't know. I mean, it feels impossible to say that right now. I've just been through like a crazy couple of months with life on the road and stuff like that. But anyway, I stopped doing comedy altogether for a while, and I got back into it through improv. And somewhere in the middle of that like dry spell of not doing comedy, I was just drinking a lot, and my friends in Chicago like convinced me to go up at an open mic that was happening in some Irish bar one night. And I mean, I basically ruined an open mic. I didn't have a set. I was just my friends, and I ruined an open mic, but like it went well. Like,
I mean, I that makes sense in my mind, because I know the exact situation you're talking about. I've seen it myself.
Yeah. I mean, we were just hammered, and like, here's the thing. Like, I think you're a really thoughtful guy, so you're not threatened by me saying like, there's a lot of dudes who just think they should be talking. And therefore, when I wandered into that open mic with my girlfriends, it was a bunch of dudes. And so like a bunch of drunk chicks walking in was like at least exciting, because it was like, 17 dudes waiting to hear each other talk about their dicks. So
That's exactly what it is. I was just going to say jerking off, but same thing.
Yeah. So like, even though I had no talent or place, I mean, I'm sure there was a couple dudes that were like, oh, she did not taking it seriously. But I don't know. As a woman performing now, I meet women constantly that are talking to me like, oh, like I've always wanted to do it. And I always tell them like, go to an open mic. I promise. You sit to an open mic, you will be like, I can do that. But women are less inclined to like start it, I feel like, than men are. So anyway, I was drunk. It went well. I woke up with a bra full of business cards and Subway sandwich cards, and that felt encouraging. And
That's phenomenal. I love everything about that. I was drunk. It went well. Well, that's perfect.
It took me like probably another year to like try doing anything in the comedy world again. But
oh, so you did that? Was that a one-off?
Yeah,
you did that, and then
blackout, really. And then I got back into comedy soon after that, doing improv. I did improv classes at the Annoyance Theater in Chicago, and I happened to work at a bar that had like kind of a perfect room for an open mic. So one of the guys in my improv class, he did stand up, and he's like, let's start an open mic. And that open mic's still going, Three Dead Moose every Sunday in Chicago. But that was my first time doing stand up, like doing it for real. Like, this is where I'm starting. This is me starting stand up. My start date is March 6th, 2011. And that's the day I started hosting that mic. So my first time really doing it was hosting an open mic that became very popular very quickly. So I had a weird start.
Very cool. I'm always a fan when people remember the date. I always am intrigued by that because I'm October 13th, 2004, but I have a million friends who are like, I have no idea. I couldn't even tell you what season it was in. I was like, how do you not know? How do you not remember that?
I mean, I can't keep track of so many significant dates throughout this, or what. I mean, there's a lot of details that I've lost, but because of we had the open mic, so every March 6th would be like the anniversary, and that's my stand-up anniversary. And now it's just that nobody cares about the open mic anniversary anymore. So, yeah, I don't know. It helps me to remember that.
How did you start doing the road out of Chicago? Did you start doing the road out of Chicago? Was that your home base when you first started hitting the pavement hard?
Yeah, answer to that has to be Indiana. I mean, it's just, I don't know, you just start making little loops. I didn't have a car when I lived in Chicago for the first 10 years. So, honestly, I started doing the road because anytime I needed to leave Chicago, I mean, it's just so expensive to live anywhere, but like in order to justify travel costs to anywhere, whatever wedding or family event, I would just book enough stops for comedy along the way to make it kind of like make sense for me. And then those little loops that I did to get in and out of Chicago just started changing. And then I decided to start like, well, why don't I go somewhere I want to go? Because these are making a little bit of money now. And yeah, it just started picking up steam on its own. But yeah, lots of little loops. Started with the suburbs, then the next state, then the next state. And then, yeah. And it just became kind of a bigger thing.
That's awesome. And that's definitely a cool way to do it too, because I have for sure like flown across the country and tacked gigs onto like weddings and stuff. Oh, there's weddings in LA. Cool. I wonder if I could do the San Fran punchline that week. Oh, I'm already on the West Coast. I wonder if I can shoot up to Portland for a weekend and do 2 shows up there. Piecing it together is so fucking fun to me. Still, after all this time.
Yeah. I think I'm just hitting a little bit of a wall at the moment because it seems like there's not really a way to like ever disengage from this. Like, you can't just like, and I've been forced to take it a little bit. I mean, I spent most of April dealing with a car accident, and then I'm still just like figuring out. I'm honestly so burnt out from that and getting the new car. I have not stopped moving. I literally drove here. I've been still in the middle of this van build, and I've been trying to maintain my schedule as best as I can. But the truth is I have no freaking idea what I'm doing the next couple of months. And I mean, talk about pictures. I can't just, this lifestyle does not permit you time to be steadily connected to the internet or your website or any of the things that we need to do. And
that is 100% true. That is 100%. It's a full-time job just to stay on top of that.
Add that in with anything irregular, like a car wreck. Like I took all these videos of my build for the van camper that I'm making. And it's like, I know that content will do well on TikTok or whatever if I can just get it edited, but I need the hours it takes to edit and put that stuff together. And I can't very well do that while I'm doing it's just unbelievable the amount of work comedy, whatever. We're all kind of like, we've all really screwed ourselves into thinking we're not doing enough. And that just like spreads out everywhere, and all of us feel inadequate, even though we're doing too much, actually.
Way too much. And it feels like it's still not enough.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I don't possibly have enough time to share all this content, but like in my head, I'm nagging myself about like how I need new material. And it's like, I haven't even put out the album yet. You know what I mean? Like I don't have time for any of this. So honestly, part of me really wants to just kind of like disconnect pretty hard and like do a few shows this summer, but kind of like go a little bit more off the grid because, yeah, I don't know. Being good at social media just gets you more people wanting your time, which is completely obsessed with filling your social media, like there's not, you know what I'm trying to say? I'm just, yeah.
When is the album coming out? Do you have a title?
Yeah, the album is called Calmedy, and I finally got my notes in, and he finally just got me the first like draft of the final edit, and I've got my photos done for the cover art, but it's just a lot of stuff to take care of, and I was hoping to have it out mid-June, but it's also like I don't know. Maybe in a week from now I'll feel differently, but at this time I've literally not had a moment to sit and like look at my computer has been plugged in for a week. So, yeah.
And you did it through Helium Records, right?
Yeah.
Through Jeremy?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Very cool. He's a great dude.
Yeah, he's
very, very, very helpful. Lots of good insight. Takes very diligent notes. Like my last two albums were done through him, and he is like there for every question. Makes it super easy, and really did a fantastic job.
Yeah, and I appreciate all like people like you or anybody that was like, "Oh yeah, you're in good hands." And I definitely, I'm a very I'm kind of a control freak, so knowing that it was in somebody's capable hands like that made it so much easier for me to just kind of like let go of as much of the technical part of the process as I could and just focus on the material, which is like, yeah, after everything we just said, it's like, man, I really wish that there was just hours of my day that were just for thinking about my jokes, because it seems like that's actually like the least important thing I have to juggle sometimes,
I have all those. I feel the exact same way about stuff. There's the social media stuff. It's almost like the act is like fourth or fifth on the list, even when you're in a city to do fucking stand-up.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. So, and I mean, especially as a constant traveler, here they have a condo, but it's not like you can just like show up and be settled in. Like there's always a process of getting checked in or letting somebody know where you're staying, what you're doing, when you're coming in. And it's honestly, it's like,
Yeah. You have to text the person, let them know you're in town, but then the key is in another building 4 blocks over.
Yeah.
Then you have to text her to let her know you arrived, and then text him to let you know that you confirm the show time.
And this is like an easy one where I'm like, I'm here a day early. They have a condo, but it's like, it's always something. Or if you're staying with people, it's like just constant. It's way more communication about your like basic needs than anybody really understands. So it's like, that keeps me pretty busy on my phone between the maps and just like, permission to sleep, sir. So I have a nice camper that I'm building right now, and I hope to like actually use that and go to some parks and like have some quiet time to myself in my own space. And people will act like I am crazy for wanting to sleep in the van, but it's like, are you kidding me? Like, that's the only way I get peace. And like,
it's your space.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to go sleep in any Cracker Barrel, but like, if it's a nice Cracker Barrel, I'm happy in there.
Yeah. All right, before we get going here, plug all your stuff. When I'll definitely share your album and all when that comes out on all socials, but plug all your stuff right now.
Yeah, you can expect my website to be updated soon, and that's reenacalm.com, and that's where I keep all of my tour dates and stuff like that. I'll be around the Midwest most of the summer. My album will be everywhere but there, and the best place to follow me is, like you mentioned, thank you so much, on Instagram at Reena Calm.
Of course.
I love posting pictures of my travels, and I have so many things to post coming up. So,
huge fan. Not even kidding when I say that's one of my favorite accounts. Not even kidding.
I'm gonna make you happy.
Of course.
Posts real soon. It's been
all right.
Too much in the moment.
All right. Well, I'm going to let you go get some rest. You just had a long drive in. Thank you for taking time out to talk to me. I appreciate it.
Thanks for a great
and
chat.
Absolutely. I hope we cross paths soon, man. Let's that would be great. It's just so funny when ships in the night, you know? Like we could not see each other for 4 years, but be in back-to-back cities a million times during that time frame.
Yeah.
Just days apart.
Yeah. I hope we honestly, festivals feel like the only chance you really get to be all in the same space at the same time, but they're also exhausting in their own way. So who knows? Maybe we'll both have shows in Cleveland again soon, or who knows? Somewhere. I'll make it up to Philly one of these days. So I've never.
Both text Sam. Let's just hound him down.
Yeah. He'd love
that. You and I could have two separate podcasts. You and I could have a comedy one and a national parks one.
Yeah.
We would definitely take up 2 hours with an hour on each topic. No question.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Well, plenty to see on the Instagrams, so.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for joining me. Thanks for plugging all your stuff. Congrats on the album. I look forward to hearing it, and I'll plug all of that. So go get some rest. And everybody, Reena Calm. Thank you.
Bye.
You've been listening to The Mesh, an online media network of shows and programs ranging from business to arts, sports to entertainment, music to community. All programs are available on the website as well as through iTunes and YouTube. Check us out online at themesh.tv. Discover other network shows and give us feedback on what you just heard.